here we are, folks.
A little bit of parallax. And our local tour guide takes me to the waterfall under the bridge. Lovely spot, Richie.
Isn't it? So nice little relaxing place out here.
A lot of people chilling pretty hard. Nice.
Not about to go to Alfred.
Lovely spot. So obviously Richie's pure blood and truther. How did you come round to figuring out what the hell's going on?
Well, I mean, really, I've got my wife to thank, to be honest. I thought she was a bit batty at first, as I'll be frank with you guys. Yeah, my wife. So, you know, she had, you know, very specific views. You know, I was following the sheep like everyone else were about to, and yeah, my wife basically said, don't go along with it. Have a think first. You know, you should look at the different layers about what's out there, what information. But she had some various sources. I suppose you'd say truth or truthers, other people that had different views. And yeah, she had a belief that something was happening. Things weren't quite what they seem, and that we shouldn't rush ahead and just go along with it. So yeah.
So at what phase into the psychological operation was this? Were you like masking and separating and needling, or did you? What point did you stop?
No injection. Pre-injection, I'd say. We were masking, and we did do the mask precaution, but you know, pretty soon we realised that it was just all a bit of a smoke screen. The injection, that's the key thing, and that's the key thing she was adamant about not having. Other members of my family did. Went along with it. They thought they were doing the right thing, kind of just going along. But you've got to look at the layers. My wife pretty much saved my life. I mean, that's how I look at it, to be honest.
Wow.
It was you know, if I'd just gone along at my age, you know, I'm in my late 40s, anything could have happened. I probably would have been more risk of the national clottery, like a lot of the other poor folk that are now finding they've got problems. If I hadn't have just taken a view, looked at my own facts, do your independent research, don't just listen to the mainstream media and the smokescreen and the BS, and just take a view. So yeah, my wife helped keep me from making a mistake, I think. And
how did the machine come for your children? Do you feel that?
Absolutely shocking, guys. From my heart, as a father, 2 kids, you know, I've got a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old. Absolutely shocking. Letters through from the school saying, oh, you know, it's your kid's decision, but we strongly advise you to encourage them to have an injection. And the school, the NHS, multiple emails, physical letters through the mail, texts, you know, bi-weekly from various sources, the doctor, the NHS. It was shocking. I can't believe that the government, or let's say the powers that be, put that onus onto young children to actually go along and have an injection and change their life. Unbelievable, shocking behaviour. Yeah, you know, that's...
Rope, Nuremberg 2. They can't get away with that, folks, or they'll just keep coming at us. What do you think the next attack will look like, Richie?
Well, I mean, we've already got new alerts in place that are now being pumped out. So I think it could be along the psychological side, you know, control, using fear tactics as usual, you know, putting people into a perspective, and suddenly there's these new alerts are coming, and you have to be prepared, and you have to download this on your phone, being tracked, being monitored, all of those sorts of things. It's psychological. I think there's going to be something coming connected with the alerts. I think it's psychological control, brainwash, conforming ideas.
What do you think the big lie will be? Do you think it'll be UFOs? Do you think it'll be global warming? Or
I think certainly global warming seems to be an issue that's constantly being hammered out. Again, you can take your own views. I think I think, there is a need for clean, renewable resources and energy and respecting the planet. I'm all for that. I'm an ecologist. I believe in green.
I'm off grid, entirely solar powered.
There we are. You know, I'm hopefully getting my solar rig set up, and I'll put something in my own videos about that in the future. But I think we have to be practical but reasonable. Okay, these are the things. And I think the next thing is going to be, they're already controlling. Look at certain members, I'm not going to name names, but if we know who we're talking about. If I say someone that controls London, look at what they're doing with all the boroughs in London now, and where you can and cannot drive. The force for electric vehicles. They're systematically changing the way we live our lives. It's a control factor.
Because even if we could all afford to buy electric vehicles, like £60,000 electric vehicles tomorrow, there are not enough amp hours in the whole world to power all that.
Generate that.
Even if all the coal-fired and nuclear and hydroelectric or solar were on wind farms were on full time, we could not power a national fleet of electric vehicles.
No.
And there aren't enough lithium, enough factories. That it cannot be done, folks. Not yet. It can gradually be done over a century, but not now.
It's almost an elitist control behaviour, right? You're creating these tiers of society.
Almost, like, totally.
You're layering it. So people that can are already moving to these electric vehicles, these 60 grand cars, the ones, the haves and the have-nots. That margin between the people that have and the have-not is going to just get wider and wider. We're already in a housing crisis. People can't afford their deposits. Shortage of housing. The rich people that are buying these from overseas and just renting them out, we're in a state of chaos, guys. Really, we are. Wake up, listen to this man. He knows what he's on about.
Yeah.
And do your own research, do your own exploration, have a think about what's going on. Don't just listen to the media, don't just be a sheep. Have a think and just see what's going on, please.
Yeah.
You know,
because we're going to survive this, folks, but you lot who've been swept away by this madness, they're coming for you first.
They'll take you
simply
down.
Because you'll fall for it first.
They'll take you down one way or another, whether it's you know, through your health, through your mental health, or your wallet. They're going to get to you. We're already struggling. We're in a crisis. You know, if you haven't struggled to pay your bills, then, you know, I mean, I don't know where you've been, but we're really struggling right now. And
if you're working all hours God sends just to keep a roof over your head and pay the bills, what sort of life is that?
Sort of life
in Britain at the peak of its civilization. We're not at the peak of our civilization. We're falling down a slope on the other side of it now.
Right.
And you only have to visit other countries that have already deteriorated. We're talking Venezuela. I'm trying to think of a country that was good and isn't anymore. It's the South Americas.
South Americas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a classic example, isn't it?
Say 1,000 years ago, Cambodia had the Khmer Empire, which was better than anywhere in the world. You know, Angkor Wat was bigger than London, Rome, Moscow, anywhere. It was Zimbabwe, anywhere you can name at the time, and that's now just deteriorated. Well, 40 years ago, it was just a communist genocide, and now it's just the sort of a subsistence farming hellhole.
Yeah. I mean, totally agree. You know, there's so many things that are happening. There's so many factors at play here. It really doesn't take a lot to see that things aren't right. Things are not normal. This is not a normal situation, and one thing after another. Okay, so again, I think the people need to wake up. Just have an independent view. That's my key thing. I'm just a normal guy. I'm no one special. You know, I'm just an individual. I'm a dad, you know, I've got a wife and I've got kids, maybe like a lot of you guys.
Yeah, we're both so ordinary, it's not funny. There's nothing special about us, except somehow we figured it out. But it doesn't mean that, you know, that we're geniuses or that we're more spiritually awake or have greater discernment or anything like that. We've just woken up and smelled the coffee.
Yeah, I think, again, guys, you know, great guy, he's lived it, he's lived the journey, this
yeah, I mean, I was taken out day one, right? Because my life was all about running my business, working for the summer in this country, then travelling the world over the winter. All that was taken away from me March the 20th, 2020, all gone. I was completely attacked and taken down day one. Couldn't even pay my rent. I had to just throw my savings into living in a van and budget my food for 6 months, hoping it would be sorted out, but it wasn't, was it?
They shafted him.
Yeah.
This guy got absolutely shafted.
And
Yeah.
along with millions of others all around the world. But I haven't been. I'll tell you what, though, as bad as I've been treated, those of you who've been injected, you are in for a worse treatment than I've ever known. And that's just if you survive it.
So, guys, I mean, just remember, if you haven't already, don't fall for, this smoke screen. Keep individually. Keep your individuality. Have a view on what you do and what decisions you make. Because, if you have had that injection, you've got a ticket in the National Lottery. And, I'm sorry to say that you've taken possible risks with your own future. But again, you can still make a choice in what you do next. And I think that's what the big thing is. We need to make a stand. We need to take an individual view on what's happening and what's going on. So please, guys, just keep an open mind and find your way forward, all right?
Wicked. Subscribe to Ricky there.
Thank you, man.
Subscribe to me there. Random videos at the bottom. Peace out.
Peace out, folks. Take care.
Check out these LED mood lighting.
And we've got some colour changing going on.
And look at the trees through the moonroof.
Oh, yeah.